Okay, and welcome back to another Dream Team playthrough. And this evening we'll look at the last three, starting out with Blue Team's Altamira G&CC in Arizona. This is by Chrizzce, who is really made a big splash in his first contest entry with Frigiliana way back when. That's a couple of World Cups ago now. He's always great at creating environments and like that really gorgeous scenic look. Particularly really good in that Arctic Fury style. And sometimes for me surpasses him with how he places all of his objects and kind of sets up some really good views, like the one we can see in there. Now he has filled out the form, I say? No, I don't think he has. Okay, we'll just go with details. So yeah, really interested to see how this one plays. So we'll just go with defaults, should be fine. We're in steppe or desert, so we don't need anything to worry about. This one I'm coming to a little later than some of the others. Just for whatever reason, I don't know. I think I might have skipped this one off in my list by accident. So 7,000 plays already is doing pretty well, clearly. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one goes. All right. Now we're going to have a little look around the plot as ever to start us off. And yeah, he's gone for this kind of Arizona desert style course. More of like your standard steppe kind of desert style course. Hey, who that? Then a lot of what we see is people using steppe to kind of create other really funky themes. This one's more like a just like natural use of steppe as it would be. So we've got all of these like resort style villas around the place, which is a good use of them. Yeah, we've got some big pan bunkers. We've got other bunkers. We've got dual water plane stuff going on. Kind of manufactured water, which is what you'd expect to see, I guess. I got to say, I really like this style of environment. We don't see it enough. Like the dry gulch, for lack of a better term. Yeah, it's cool. And he's done this with rock, so like rock formations over the kind of desert. They blend pretty well. This is just really hard to do. I think that's probably about as good as you can do. The lots of little rocks. I tend to think it works better with the fewer giant rocks, but I think that looks pretty damn good. Yeah. So I don't think actually this one's just like here we've got a golf course. Let's go and play it. Lots of little bushes and stuff around here. Cool. Very heavily planted around here. I guess we're pretty far away from it for lag purposes and things. Do love zooming around courses like this. There's just loads of cool ideas that have gone on. And we've got driving through the mountains. We've got some water there as well as a big pan bunker. Quite a cool look. All right, get into it. Okay, so we've got some out of bounds first of all. Now we do also know our matchups for this one. Trail Ducker, Shotstone, Huda, hello. So this one has drawn the following matchups. I think memory serves is on day one, out with Painted Sky. So with Axel's course against Old Kildonan and Farrington Moss. So that's a big matchup for it. I think it sits on day two, and then it is up against Hackamore on day three as well. So we got some pretty big matchups in there as well. All right. So first hole. I really like the pan bunker. I don't think you need the tree in it. Would far prefer this without the tree, personally. That said, I'm really liking the way you've got kind of natural area, like so the base kind of texture area here, and then the just like the maintained surfaces. Yeah, it probably is very Arizona, and just not a massive fan of it. Oh, okay, and we're doing that as well, which again I guess is very Arizona's never really appealed to me. For better or worse, indeed. Green's got some contours that make sense. And a few that don't. I think if this is coming It's probably a bit too flat here rather than rolling off, but I think mostly it works. Is it too much for Arizona? Maybe. I don't know. It's a video game. I'm not too worried about it. So in a different wind, we can probably carry this to here. I guess downwind maybe you can carry here. It's a very tight dog leg. I might like to see this a bit more diagonal, particularly for guys with shorter drivers. But it's not too long a hole that we're dead if we don't take it on. I really like this planting. I think the kind of natural area looks great. Bunker is probably a bit big and a bit artificially raised. Like back bunkers are difficult, but I think this one is. What are we at? So 25 all the way down to 15. 10 feet is huge. I probably have it stopping about there, and if you just drop the land a little bit, this will sit a little bit better. Although we have gone with big bunkers kind of all over the place. Yeah. I really like this opening approach shot though. It's good. I love what I really like that you've done is brought these bunkers much further away from the green, because it gives that visual of like, are they sitting in front of the green? You're not quite sure. I think that's good. Relying on wind a little bit. We're going to have central trees a lot, are we? Yeah, I think that is part of it. Like you get a lot of back bunkers that aren't visible in real life because they sculpt down rather than into a hillside. But don't get me wrong, the one here where it is makes sense. Oh, we're 158. Whoops. Where it is, I think makes sense, but I don't know. Equally, I don't play this type of course. I'm not used to that at all. All right. There are going to be people who love this tee shot, and there are going to be people who, and I kind of fall in the other camp of there's too much going on. We've got planting really encroaching here and here. I tend to prefer if we leave one of the sides open. It's just all, I kind of feel like I'm looking everywhere but at the hole. And then even when we get to the hole, we've got the central tree as a thing, which isn't really in play. I just don't think you need to do this much with the tee shot. We've also got this giant bunker again here, which is just sitting very awkwardly. 8 down to 22, 21 maybe. So we're looking at 13 feet high. Like it's just huge, and we don't need to go that high at all. I think probably halve the amount of elevation change you got on your bunker. Shape on this one's a little awkward as well. I think probably angle it more so it's kind of top lines around here and coming out this way rather than down this way. Just it's fighting the land a little bit more than it needs to. And I do like the pan bunkers you've done. I think these work really well for allowing you to draw these interesting fairway shapes. I'm going to love your bunkers then. Excellent. I look forward to it. I'm enjoying the green complexes. I think the green's been good so far. But I also don't see why. I guess we're trying to promote angles, aren't we? Into different areas of the pin, but for different pins. I just don't see why I don't take this on pretty much every time. I mean, I guess that's partly pro swing, and yeah. I feel like there's enough green to work with that it's never really going to make me. They creep up super high. Excellent. Well, we'll see how well they're executed. Q is famous for hating his own course before we even play it. Yeah, as I would like to have. I think if you'd made the green smaller, bigger slopes, maybe I might try different sides, the different pins, but felt driver was a bit too automatic there. I mean, I'm finding that with my designs at the moment, it's really hard. Exactly what Axel says. It is just really hard to scare people with bunkers. I like the way this one sits. Really nice. And actually here I think you've thinned out a little bit of the planting on this side, and that works. Still think this bit is a bit too close. Like push it 5 yards that way. Oh, sure it is. It feels absolutely on point. Green again is interesting. I think I would like to see the greens just maybe a little bit smaller, or like the areas blended a bit more, but massacred this. Oh, I'd forgotten about that. I personally, yeah, it's a shame that you can still see beyond this, but there's nothing you can do about it, so I wouldn't even begin to consider docking points for it. The cacti look odd. I don't think you can do them any better, and I think that is exactly how they are. I just think they look odd. Just kind of felt I needed to comment on it. I do really like the plants and things you've chosen. I think they work well. Hey, Maddie. Yeah, he is your enemy. We were talking about that at the start. I really liked it right at the beginning when we were on that master tempo for Q School, and the game was just insanely difficult. Nobody knew what they were doing, and you had to really think about whether you were going for shots. Yeah, the bunker shaping. This one's not. I think you tend to struggle when you're a bit more when you're not angling them. So when it's straight on, this one's just kind of there. This one's better. And actually, your height elevation is better here. We're only at 8 feet rather than the 13. That one works a bit better. Say generally just drop the top of the bunker a bit so that the high point is a little bit further beyond the back of the bunker. Now, elevation change-wise, with the wind, I think I can probably get over these. Interested for. I feel like I'm interested to play this with like a 3-wood and see how shorter hitters would have it in. This feels like it could be a super severe hole if you don't have the driver to carry this. Which, okay, we're 278, but 21 feet up. Like if you've got the 285 driver, this is into wind. You are struggling on this hole. Looks good again. I still think one of the best benefits you have of step or this type of course is showing the playable surfaces. And there's this planting is all just very bold and in your face. I'd like it dropped just a little. Kind of like the last 2 holes. As is, I think we're going to clear pretty comfortably, but that's kind of due to the wind. I like the green site as well. Manufactured, sure, but and like little punch bowl, which is cool. The little tiny little spine in the back. This is the best green so far. Like loads of interest in it. Works completely in harmony. Really like the approach shot. Just a little worried about the tee shot if you get the wrong wind and you don't have quite the longest club. I think that might be good. I mean, I say that. I think that's also the sort of green you really want to be hitting quite a long club into, so it's just hard to balance the two. That's a horrible putt, which almost went in because it was so bad. But yeah, entertaining so far. I'm enjoying it. And I think many of my critiques are going to be the kind of the same thing over and over again. Like, I just think pretty much every tee shot is a little bit too busy. Don't really like or get the centerline trees. Let's just make it fairway. I mean, nobody's really playing. Well, people might play over here. Let's do it. Why not? It does generate an angle. And we've gone through into heavy rough. Yeah, we are cruising. It's going quickly. I really like the pan bunkers. Like, I know they're really wide and big, but I think they work really nicely for bringing in the fairway in interesting ways. Trail Dapper is getting new ideas for centerline hazards. Now the water's in. This is a tough thing to accomplish, like having this water playing as a hazard on the outside of a dog leg. I think you've done it really, really well. Did Matt use the front 9 for this or the back? I think he used the front. I was going to say, I think these holes have been good so far. Still, I just feel I know it is the Arizona style, maybe. But I'm just looking at the amount of different colours we've got. So white, yellow, purple, red, green, the beigey sort of colour, the orange up here, the yellow up here, green, browns. There's just an absolute assault on the sensors with like the amount of different colours. I just tone the colour. Oh, and we've got a blue sort of thing there. I get that's probably the style, but for me, just tone it down a little bit. Hey, Charlie. Yeah, I like that tee shot. And I'm glad that you didn't do... Ooh. Okay, sculpting here goes a bit iffy. We don't need to go this low down near the waterline. This just looks super flat and awkward. And it doesn't need to be. You don't need the false front. Why have we done that? Is it to... I wonder whether it's to show off this bunker, and if so, just lose it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, bunkering again is a bit hit and miss. Like this finger needs raising up a little bit. I'd say probably raise up most of the front of this bunker, and then they go really deep. And I think bunkering is going to be a big takeaway, and the one at the back is kind of dropping into the land a touch. And I think bunkering's a thing to work on. But the environment's really cool, and I think this tee shot's been great. Approach shot's good as well. It's just the way that front of the green sits, just a touch awkward. And I like the long green for distance control. I think it works. I think you could have made your green smaller. If you were to make the surfaces a bit smaller, you will make people play closer to the water. Also, as much as I like the tee shot, I'm not sure the green totally works with it. So I think the tee shot's working best when you're pushing people out towards the right. And actually with this one, you just want to be cutting off the bunker. So I think if you were angling your green a bit more that way and bunkering in the inside, that would encourage you to play further out towards the water. Just they're two good shots. I just don't think they necessarily make the most of each other. Oh, not even getting close. See, like this shot, which we're looking at, the deep greens muted work really well together. The oranges on the other side worked really well together. Here we've got fewer colours in play, and it's really nice because actually I do just notice that as a little highlight, and this is a little highlight. I think it works so much better when they are just highlights rather than everything is everywhere. Okay. I think we want to go down the left. Not really sure why I want to go right and why this bunker is there. So I feel like we're pinching this, we're protecting this bit of fairway really hard. And I don't think I ever want to be there. Well, good. And the wider side of the fairway is actually going to give you, if you were going for it in two, I suspect it's a 3-shotter anyway. I mean, I guess maybe that little bit of fairway opens up this, but you're always carrying this part of the fairway. No, I mean, I think what we're going for is if you go to here, you've got an easier line to here, but then you're blocked out by these two bunkers anyway, so why would you want to really get to here? But I think that's the idea. If you flip the green round, so the bunkers are protecting this side and the green goes that way, and actually you do want to be here, then I think this makes a lot more sense. I do get the concept. It's and it's also I'm playing it not into wind and with the longest driver, so like it'll probably play differently without. Just again, not totally sure the tee shot and the approach angle is necessarily working in harmony. Three under and a 4 and a 3 to come. Okay. Thank you, Bellevue. I appreciate that. All right. I think, as with the last hole, this one is just really low to the water. As in, I know we're in the desert, but a rain, and like we are, the whole hole is gone. I think just generally, and I've done courses that are this low to the water as well. Like, what was the one? Darkwater Barrens was really low for a kind of different reason. It just looks so much better if you raise it 2 or 3 feet more. The water will still come into play because the slopes will bounce it in, but it just also makes your sculpting so difficult because you want this runoff and going down to here, so down 23 and then like whip. Like you're going up before you get back to the water. So this is actually basically lower than, if not as low as, the water, which creates a really awkward visual look when you notice what it is. That aside, again, I think I like the hole. I think the green is too complex for what it needs to be. So like we're basically saying to people, you can lay up or you can lay way wide or you can go for the green. I think going for the green is the easiest shot of all of them. So if I'm laying up here, I'm worried about clearing this bunker and running out, which I probably can't do with this wind. And I've got the tree. Of course, I've got the tree blocking me. If I'm laying up here, that's like the narrowest portion of fairway I could go for. So I'm either laying up with 9-iron to this wide fairway, or I'm going for driver and I've got this amount of room and I'm definitely clearing the water unless I get a red fast. So just, there's no danger in going long. And in fact, going long, well, I'm pitching back into this spine, so for this pin. So just think, with the drive ball 4, let's make driver like big reward, but also like the biggest risk. Here, I think it's the easiest play. I know everyone in chat was wanting me to hit a red fast or something there, but sorry. But like even that, I just feel like I've got so much margin for error. And we can just chip it into the spine and it'll bring it back. At least a little. And like that just feels like a very... It does, the backdrop works really well. It just feels like a very, very easy way to make a par and got a good shot at birdie, but I don't know. I don't see why I'd ever lay up on that one, which is a shame. Love the little waterfall that was coming out the side. I only just noticed that last second. And this is a great looking par 3 to finish the front 9. I think here the bunkering looks excellent. And that's a really cool view over the rest of the course. Oh, don't go long. I think sculpting here could be a little bit smoother if you did go long. It's pretty propped up. Hey, CG. And like when you examine them a little closer, the bunkers aren't sitting perfectly, but I think bunkering wise, this is the best on the course we've had so far. Can't be good. Oh, not quite. So if that's the front 9 for one of the matches, I think that's pretty solid. Okay. Back, I mean, again, I think tee shot wise, I'd be losing this bit here, or although I guess that's probably blocking the glare off the path. Like this side all feels nice and muted and natural, and I think the rocks look The rocks blend in really well with the natural terrain. Yeah. Okay. And we got this big ravine here, which I think should just be a really huge feature of the hole. And I'm not sure it is, because we are pinching this side, but I don't want to be on this side, because then I'm having to go over this giant red slope that's going to dump me into fairway. I might as well come at this from this angle and just try and funnel it down here. He is scared. Bunkers here look good. I think just think the trees generally are not adding to any of the tee shot strategies. I know we're splitting fairways with them, but I don't think they're necessarily helping. Okay, let's just hit something out of there. Kind of wanted to hit the marker to see what would happen. I think one of your main things would also be just occasionally dropping the land like 5, 10, 15 yards in front of the bunkers as well. Because these ones are actually dead flat, which is why they then go deep in the middle. Because 5 to here versus actually 1 to here to, yeah. You see, I'll get there. Splash shot. Okay. So yeah, we're about 2 here, that way. And then to the top of the bunker, you're looking at like 5, 4. There's actually only 2 feet of elevation change here, which when you consider some of the previous holes where we've had like 13, 14, I think we can just get a bit more consistent with bunker sculpting generally. That would really help. What was 2.6? I don't know if is design league still a thing? Who knows? Just think we've got a bit of a missed opportunity here, and you've got this really cool gorge all the way down the left-hand side of the hole, and just never been tempted to go near it. Whereas we could build that in as the main strategy of it. Yeah, blame Matty. It's a shame. I used to use these playthroughs to recommend people do the design league. Okay, so here, I mean, you're going to have people trying to bounce off the cart path, which, yeah, how would you do it? I don't know. I think this is a tricky part, hold cart path, isn't it? Oh, we are not trying to do that. Oh, please don't be out of bounds. This would be fun to try to recover from. Shame. Deserved. Yeah, I like the tee shot. It's like it is a narrows kind of concept that works. And a little bit of a road hole-ish. No, not at all. I don't know. Bunker placement, maybe. OB right. Yeah, it's OB everywhere. But like you could have laid up with a 3-wood. Just would have produced a very tricky shot in. Which into wind I don't think we want. That's a pretty solid bogey, all things considered. Yeah, same thing with visual overload. Like I just want to see the golf hole really. This green's got too much going on. There's loads of ideas here. We've got a little bit of a thumbprint here, kicker slope here. Like I don't know. I think the green is too segmented in that if you miss the spot your pin is on, you've got a kind of mini golf style putt, which we don't really want to try to have. And there's a lot of these slopes that if you are on the wrong side of them, you're basically off the green. So this one, there's no puttable area really down here because you're rolling off. Same with this. Same with this side of the spine. Like, they're coming into green where you're putting over it. They're quite interesting features. If they're just shoveling you off, then you're losing a lot of green space. It's not an uninteresting part. Oh, just needed a bit more. I think I like the idea of a short par 3 with a crazy green. Just maybe a little too wild there. Okay. Yeah, the greens started off really well, and I think this is starting to fall away a little bit more. Hey, Eric. There's the little swale here. I don't think makes much sense. I'm cool with the runoff. I think just have the whole green funnel towards the runoff going left to right. Let's do that. But then these bunkers are sitting awkwardly because the hole's trying to go this way. And yeah, I think this hole just with high side and low side has a lot going on because where's your high side? Well, at this point it's here. Here it's low. Then up here you've got high and then low and high and low. And it just isn't necessarily all working together. And that's why it looks a little awkward visually off the tee in terms of where the fairways are. But we can play off that slope and kick this way. But then that's making these bunkers hard to sculpt because and that's causing this blindness because you're trying to have these bits high rather than low. And you're just creating a lot of awkward sculpting for yourself because you're fighting some of the land a bit. Thanks. Yeah, we've done just gotten into a little bit of a groove and sharing a few things. Now, I do like the runoff long. I think that works really well. And the run into the kind of natural waste bunker thing, again, is cool. I just don't like that the green is then funneling us this way away from it. So we have to be pinpoint accurate for this shot, which is okay on like a shortish par 5. But I don't know, there's just a lot going on this hole. At least we have a little bit of a backstop. The main thing I'm coming away thinking about this course is it's so close. There's just a couple of things that have been overworked or overdone, but it's so close to being really good. And like it's good, but like these bunkers again are kind of pan flat because you haven't really decided where high side is. I guess they're okay. They're okay. I think I'd probably raise this side up a little bit more. But I think you're constrained by having this hole at this height and dropping down, and then your water right here, and you've got no way to like drop the land any further because of where the water is. The houses popping in and out is really cool. I don't think we need to do the bunker going into the water. I don't think fits. It feels like we're doing a thing for the sake of doing a thing. Love this green site at grade though, like at ground level. I'd probably lose the swell in front and allow people to play a running shot in, but it looks so nice having one that is just like, okay, this hole is probably a bit too flat to the water, but I'm loving the variety of having had a hole with lots of elevation change to get up, and then suddenly we've got a flat hole here. I think that works really nicely in terms of balance. Such a shame you just get no auto gem plants with desert. There's just nothing you can do about that backdrop. And I think the environment you've created is really cool. And I'm glad you didn't put mountains behind it because that would have been like all your giant rocks because that would have been an easy get out. I think it would have you'd have lost something. Okay, we've gone back to really super width, and actually, let's just zoom out a sec. Because you know what? The holes I've preferred by far, and okay, there were some issues with this one, with like the high side and low side stuff. I have far preferred the holes where they are not going super width and let's split a centerline bunker and go way wide or way left. Because I think these are the more kind of clunky ones where it feels like you go either here or here and it doesn't really work conceptually together. I think this one was simple, and simple worked really nicely. This one, okay, we could have lost this, but I think worked. Yeah. This one with the road, I thought was a really simple concept and worked brilliantly. Those for me are the best holes on this course. The ones where we're not going chuck a centerline hazard down and then you can go this way or this way, and it just feels like things get a bit more messy. And I know people go width and options, etc. And yeah, there are ways like you can do it that way. But I think when we go super width, it's very easy for things to feel just like a bit more awkward. I don't love the blindness here. I feel like it's avoidable with this, like this bit of land here, and this sculpting is a little awkward. Partly because the bunker, I don't really know why it is on this side. But yeah. Go for that. It is a red flag. He's gone red flags. I think actually, oh god, that's an awful part. Thanks, Trace. Good spot. I think we've also got Q coming up, who's done red tees or something. Silly people. Okay, I do like with this one that we've brought, like when you've got this kind of gulch ravine thing, that actually is right in front of the green and therefore having a real impact. I would question whether we need any of this fairway really. There's like runoff given the bunker is there, but I don't hate it. The green slopes feel a bit awkward here as well. I think I'm okay with it all. Bunkering down the left is good. Those sit much nicer with like high side and low side and make complete sense in the hillside where you've put them. This is 100% an Arizona template. Okay, I will take your word on it. Okay, so we absolutely cannot hit driver. Though we could try and go down the stones. That is tempting. That'll be a future playthrough, surely. God, I'm tempted. Is there out of bounds? Not out of bounds in the ravine. Okay, what should we do? We should probably play to this part and then just splash up. I want to play it sensibly, but equally, I really want to find out if you can hit the stones. Probably carrying them. And if you do go down that way, you're left with... I think the strategy works. It's just... It just can all be a bit smoother. We can go this way and be boring. And misses the fairway. Didn't quite get all of it. Maybe, but if you're not able to get the green on a 350-yard par 4, I think we've got other problems. Oh, there we go. This is fine. This is all fine. Easy par. Fun hole, I think just with some smoothing, that could work a little better. Yeah, same with the greens on the back nine are definitely less good than the front. And they're just they're trying to do a little bit too much. Of course, default ringtone. Like, can't be bothered to change it. And if we've got this water in, like, it would be really cool to use it, but the beach bunker I don't think works for me. Like it, same on the last hole. I don't think we need it. Actually, I just think this hole would work so much better with no bunkers here, water down this side. You could make it completely bunkerless. I just think this would work a lot better. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, the default player is because the game decided to uninstall like 3 times for some reason. I just couldn't be bothered to go through it all again. That is what we do. I've enjoyed this one. Okay. So now we've got a more kind of, like, dare I say, straightforward hole. And I think it works better. I don't think we don't need to the holes without the centerline bunkers are infinitely better than the ones with them. And the green's at grade, which means we can hit a long iron into it. There's too much going on the green, too many like mounds in the green that are kind of just funneling you into weird places, and I think they're there kind of to be there rather than as part of the strategy. That's an awful drive. Still say it's his best. I don't think it's far off. So yeah, we can, because it's at grade, we can bumper 3-wood on, and yeah, I just don't like the giant mounds in the green. Like, I know what we're trying to do, just I think they need to be a bit smaller, and yeah, what you're forced to go for. And something up there and hope. Not too bad. Hey, we made a par. I thought the environment's really cool. Like, a bit busy in places, but I think that is probably part of what that style of course is like. I think front 9 for alt shot is definitely a good decision. The front 9's much stronger, I'd say, than the back. Yeah, I think main takeaways do a little less with the greens and a little less with the holes and a little less with the planting. Like, tone stuff down by 30%, and I think you're right there. The environment is really cool and works well. You can do big views. You get what you're trying to do with strategy. Just strategy does not mean that we need to be 150 wide fairways with a centerline bunker or a tree. But I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought there's entertaining holes on there. I prefer that to, I don't think the last few of yours I played. Azerbaijan Dunes, I preferred this to that. Although visually, that 16th hole on that course is still probably my favourite ever in game. Can't remember the other recent ones. Yeah, definitely up there. Right, we're going to cut the stream and we're going to be right back, and we're going to play Jives next, and we're going to keep Q waiting. So we'll be right back.